we call human resources. I don't think we are resources, to be utilized for an end goal. I think, we all are people. They are individuals. They have their own aspirations. They have their own desires. They have their own lives. They have their own challenges and issues. And I think that's how we should look at people. They are not some resources, whom I'm paying to do something.
My channel Say Something with Maths. I'm Madhumita, and today we have another youth, another Gen Z on my channel. He is somebody special to me. He is my old student. I have taught him almost 20 years back, and I have kept in touch with him because I see a spark. I see somebody who is constantly evolving with time, and I am so glad to invite him today to my channel. Gnanesh, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to come here and to be a part of your initiative. I'm always looking forward to the projects, that you're doing and being associated with it. So, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor, rather.
Thank you, Gnanesh. And to tell you, my audience who is listening to me, is that Gnanesh is one person I go to whenever I need any help from anything about what young people are doing. How he, in fact, I invited him as one of my one of guest speakers to speak to my 10th grade students on entrepreneurship way back, some 6-7 years back. Yeah, so we kept in touch, and the journey continues. And I hope lots of good wishes for Gnanesh in the coming years. But before that, we have to know who Gnanesh is and what does he do. I can see something on his t-shirt. It said Gyan You. Gyan You is his brand. So
it's actually choose what you love.
Okay, choose what you love. Wow, lovely. Wow, amazing. So let's start with that. So tell me what you're doing and what is Gyanyu all about and what does this quote mean to you?
So at Gnanesh Education, I started because after completing my studies, I was feeling that I was thinking about, where should I contribute to in my life, in what areas, and I was feeling a strong inclination that I should move towards education. Though I didn't have a background in education, like I was not qualified to be a teacher or I had not studied in education as such. So it was all starting from scratch. I had very strong ideas on how education should be, which I will say were not my own ideas. I think they came from a lot of people I read, and which made me realize that the kind of education that we have been receiving as a part of our schools, colleges in India, even the good schools and elsewhere. But when I read these people, I got, it redefined the definition of education for me. I just realized, I never thought about this. And this is so nice. And somewhere I just became very clear how education should be. I could see gaps between what we were receiving, then as compared to what the ideals of education were. And I thought, because I understand it and I found myself that I could do something about it. So let's do something about it. So that's how the first step towards decision towards working in education was taken. So Gnanesh Education, I just named it Gnanesh Education, and
the first means your name also, and Gnan is education. So it beautifully combines your ethos with the word. So it's very, very catchy phrase.
So when we decided to work in education, I first thing I observed around me is that a lot of people around me were not happy with their career choices. I saw these students are coming out from good colleges, they're working in good places, yet they're not satisfied. So then I felt that something is wrong, and why doesn't happen? And as I started thinking more about it, I realized how we are going wrong, especially in India, in societies like India, in making our career choices. And I thought it could be a good step to start with this problem. So we started first with the problem of dealing with how to make more informed career choices. And that's how, as we work more, that's how this whole thing about choose what you love, I think, came out as the summary of everything, that we're doing. So, yes, then we build a lot of solutions for career guidance.
And also, I've been watching you lately doing a lot on social media. I see when your YouTube channel that you are doing a lot with young children, kids from the not so, I'm talking about the middle class young students. You're working with them. What is it you are doing with them? I see a good team of people with you working on their education and their skills. So tell me something about that.
So as we were working on our journey towards building career guidance solutions, we did get approached by few foundations who wanted us to deploy the same solutions for the underprivileged kids. We had to adapt our programs to understand these students and meet their requirements and their circumstances, which we did, and uh, our programs were very effective with them. We got very positive feedback, and so more and more such programs have been happening since then. So we started off with career guidance programs. Now we are
So
moving
when did it
towards.
start? When did this phase of like taking big schools and making changes start?
So while we started working very actively on GNANU since past 3 years full time, but that same time coincided with COVID period.
Yeah.
So for the first 2 years, the schools had different priorities. So towards the end of the COVID 2 year period, once things opened up, which allowed us to go and visit schools and do sessions. So that's when these things took place again.
Now, coming to something interesting, which I wanted to ask you is another side of your um, entrepreneurship journey. I would say is you are very good at drawing, and for that you started your own games. You launched them, and it's still on Amazon. And I too have one of them. If anybody is interested in Hindi films, I think everybody is. And this is one thing which we play when we are all together, and this is designed by Ganesh. So I would like you to talk about this gaming zone. How did you come into it, and what challenges you met while designing these games? If you have something, you can show us also.
So I was not aware about my own creative skills at a very late age. I was so basically, I thought I was good with studies and I focused on that.
Yeah.
But it did happen in colleges when you're taking parts in extracurriculars, or maybe it's just drawing behind the books in lectures. When sometimes the lectures are not very interesting.
Yeah.
So I just found people appreciated what I was doing, and that brought my attention to my creative skills. Whether the drawing later on, whether it's maybe shooting short films. So over the period, I realized that I was good with creative things. It so happened that over the period of a decade or so after that, these skills kept on improving, and I identified more creative skills in me. So creative skills was one thing which I want to make use of, and then if you have to make a career out of it, then why not use it to build a career? So that became the center point of my career decision somewhere. Though by that time I already had a purpose that I want to contribute in the education sector. So Gnani was already in the making, and I decided that I will start using these creative skills more than as an art for my own self. I'll use it for creating content for Gnani, and that's how I started channelizing the cartoons and the videos for making Gnani content. As I was working for Gnanu, and because that time the focus was only on career guidance initially. Career guidance, given the nature of it, because all the exams year ends in the March and April months, and the admissions happen by August. So usually after August there is a free period, and in such 1 year, I thought we have some time, let's do something different. So I was doing in education and technology, digital products. So we said let's do something totally contrast. So we said let's do something which is non-educational, entertaining, and which is non-technology, which is physical. And that's how the idea of a board game came up. The first game, Filmy, that we made in September. So August, our career guidance programs ended. So September first week, I thought about it. And by October first week, the first product was ready and put up in the market. And we got the first sale. But it so happened that, we listed the game online and the game started selling on Amazon. And that just took our attention that, people accepted it so quickly. We had not seen that. So, and since then the games has just grown in popularity for us. So Filmy was the first game, and more and more people have shown love towards Filmy. So we improved the packaging, we invested more, and we did that also. So today I have 5 games. We also started, because we were working in education, so we combined the games and the education segments and made educational games. We are also entering more markets. So we started with India. Now our games are available in US and Canada, and we plan to expand in more markets. So it's become a full-time, activity for me here. So I've got the games. So this is the first game that we made, Filmy.
Yeah.
So that's yes, which is what you showed. Then after Filmy, because Filmy got so much love, we made one more Bollywood game, which is called Musically.
Okay.
Which is again for all the Hindi movie lovers.
Okay.
Then we have I've got two educational games also to show you. So this is Ups and Downs. Is a board games for really small kids, which helps them to make career choices. Basically, what we felt was that if we want to contribute towards career guidance, we also have to mold the parents in terms of how they think. And so that's why we made a family game, that teaches how to make career choices in a fun way. And then we have this card game for grown-ups. It's called I Want to Be What You Want to Become. So it's a totally fun card game. But the theme is built about what you want to become. Subconsciously, it starts making you aware about the various options there.
So, what is this age group you are looking at when you're talking about I want to be? So, what is that age group? Because I remember gifting it to a lot of my friends' children when they are growing up, and they're like grade 6, 7 types. Is that the right age to gift it, or you think there is still younger age group? Yeah, the I want to be game.
Okay. So right now, so all our games, right now we are focusing on the 14 plus segment.
Okay.
We do have a lot of games for the younger kids, but there are new regulations that India, you need new licenses for making kids games from safety perspective.
Just on this topic, I would say those who are listening that these games I myself have gifted to people, and they are amazing for children to at least think. They'll be away from the gadgets and they will keep thinking, their mind works. So if we are thinking of so many steps how to move children away from gadgets, give them board games. What would you suggest to the young people, that should they start exploring a lot of things at a time and then find their niche, or they should wait for finding their niche and then start their entrepreneurial journey?
If they wait to find their niche, nothing is
Will
going to
never
happen.
No.
They will always keep waiting. Or and to be honest, they can't even wait. If they're waiting to find a niche, they'll be dragged in some other direction where they don't.
Actually.
Things will always pull you after a point. So I think it's a wonderful idea, one, to explore. Explore as much as you can, because it's very simple. When I do these workshops with kids, I think the first thing I ask them is, if I ask you whether you want to have an orange juice or a Karela juice, which one would you like? And everybody immediately says, I want orange juice. Okay, but if I ask the same question, when you were 1 month old, what will you answer? And the baby will just cry, because the baby has not tasted those two juices, but the same baby, once it grows up, knows the answer very clearly. So that's what I think tasting or experience does to you. The more we experience, the more we are already clear, if our thinking is not clouded, that what we like and what we don't like. So exploring something is definitely good. And also, this may not always be possible for everyone. Sometimes exploring has costs. If you want to join a sport or a hobby, or if you want to travel, but also I think another important thing, I think, which I feel is more missing. I think the younger generation is very keen to explore, especially if they're not constrained by budgets, or their environment. Then everybody wants to today, everybody has a phone nowadays. You can explore any topic on the phone. Everybody likes to travel if they get an opportunity to. We have films coming on every topic. So I feel there is a lot of overdose of content and exposure. We have a lot of options for whether you want to learn music or you learn acting. There are a variety of skills that are being taught outside. So I think there are a lot of options to explore. They just don't explore the outside world, which is very important. They need to explore themselves also first. They need to become clear about what is that moves them. What are your own strengths and weaknesses? On what strengths can you build, or on what weakness have to come? Also, more important, what are your own personal desires or interests in life? Given your context, what's the right thing or right path for you to follow. So I think what we call self-awareness. Because I understood myself, I could make clear decisions about where I want to take my career in. So I think that is a fundamental thing, that we need to spend time on exploring what we are, what we want, and then take further steps. So I as a college student, I had one dream that I wanted to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Where, what, how was not clear, but I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to be on my own.
Okay.
And I always had this desire that, I wanted to do this, but I also wanted to do that, and also wanted to do that. Like somewhere I felt one thing was never enough because I wanted to explore other things. So, how do you get that freedom of flexibility where you can do this thing today and that thing today and tomorrow and one thing day after? So, no job you take up in the world, is always going to compartmentalize you in one department or one function. So for me, the answer was always clear. Only if I am an entrepreneur on my own, I will have the flexibility to work towards causes or towards areas or where I want to contribute to or spend my time at.
The next question, which would be that building a team. Ganesh, I see around you a very like-minded people. I know your sister is constantly with you, Kinnari. I have taught her also. She's there, and you have built up a very good team around you, and a team of young people who are as dynamic and as enthusiastic about your cause. So, how important is it to collaborate, coordinate with people of your age group, and set that good team which will make your journey easier? So you can't be like ekla chalo re. It is never possible to do anything alone, but to build up a team at this young age, it requires a lot of give and take, to think about what other people want, their needs, their desires, bring them all together. So how important is to build up a team at this young age?
No, I think it's very important because I don't think I can do any of these things, whatever I'm doing, without a team. So I think you don't move forward without a team. So I think it's must. I think you're just one tire of the whole car. Without other three tires, you can't move forward. That's very important. And I think somewhere also I'm feeling a bit fortunate that I have got the chance to work with a very diverse set of teams. People from different fields have collaborated. Somewhere I think what I learned is that, or what I follow is that, you attract the kind of people, the kind of person you are somewhere.
Yeah,
So I think if
believe in this. Absolutely, you are right.
so, I think so I think somewhere I was, if you are, if you make sure you do your work well, eventually you do end up getting people who are also serious and committed about their work. And also, I think there was a time when I started when I started my journey, not the games, but the education journey. I was alone when I started it for a long time, like a year, 1.5. And as I think people started noticing the work, they started inquiring that, I like what you're doing. Can I be a part of it? Please tell me if I can help in some way. And I said, sure, why not? We need more hands. And, one by one, people started joining. And I think since then, all the people who've joined us since last 6-7 years back, nobody has really, all of them have stayed back till now in some or the other way. Lastly, I think once people come and join you, it's very important that you don't lose them. It's
you earn their respect by, you know that they are equally important to you. So you need to build that relationship and not let people go. It's very easy to let people go. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. So I think you need to be, I think one important thing is everybody who works with you is an equal. You're not better than them, or you're not even less or more. Everybody's an equal. So you treat them fairly. Anyone who's coming and giving their time and effort to you, that needs to be valued in some way. And I think everybody should have a place, should have a sense of worth, in your whole system, where you're working. So nobody's less important, or so I think if we have, so if and like you rightly said that, I think we need to think about what they will be going through, or what is on their minds, and address those needs upfront, rather than brush it under the carpet, or wait for things to. So I think if managed well, and if the relationships are kept well, then I think people stick with you, even if they are not working full time with you. You call them once and they're always on their feet to help you out, and you never know when they come back with you. So I think that's a very important part of leadership or management in building teams. How you build teams. And so one, you're good with your work, they will respect you for the work that you do. Building teams and managing teams is not just the conventional way of doing it. You have to adapt to whatever circumstances you get. So it's not necessary that I'm sitting with you in person. If we are doing, that's great. But if not, you can find a way to, manage that also. And I think we should manage, because it's unfair to ask someone, if somebody is working from home, there are going to be other challenges because they are in home. Maybe the houses are small, they are big. And if as a manager, you get irritated with that fact, or you're not able to trust them, so I think those are the flaws that we need to, work upon. So this was one example, but I think given in any other context, as if you are building teams or if you're working with teams, we need to be very conscious of the fact that if I was in that person's place, how would I feel, and accordingly frame your steps. And if you do that, I think I have seen the team stays with you. It doesn't leave you. We call human resources. I don't think we are resources to be utilized for an end goal. I think we all are people. They are individuals. They have their own aspirations. They have their own desires. They have their own lives. They have their own challenges and issues. And I think that's how we should look at people. They are not some resources whom I'm paying to do something. I'll be honest, I've not even paid a lot of people who work with me, but they've just worked, stayed, back.
Now, coming to another question, which I think you would be best to answer is, you have dabbled in a lot of things and you're still doing all of them with, I would say you're doing it fairly good. So whatever you have touched so now, for since now, and I don't know what is in store in future. So, but what you have to, if you encapsulate this in three things which you think an entrepreneur must have, that must have to be a successful entrepreneur, what would those three things be?
Okay, so I think I wouldn't say just three things, but I'll tell you some important things I think which an entrepreneur should have, and maybe then we can think which are the three most important. But just thinking on top of the mind, I think what are good qualities of an entrepreneur is, I think one, he has to be very the first thing is initiative. As an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss. You initiate anything that you want to do. Yeah. So first is initiative. Second is resourcefulness. Again, as an entrepreneur, I think one thing that you constantly deal with is uncertainty. It's not a certain environment, with fix. So something can go wrong somewhere, or something needs to be fixed somewhere. And you have to be resourceful. You need to have people, or someone else who can do it for you. Or you can go somewhere and get something done. So I think an entrepreneur should be very resourceful. So he can arrange things for his team and he has to take initiative. Third, I think he has to be a very good team manager. So it's not a necessary thing, but I think that just makes the process very easy if you're a good team manager. Fourth, and I think a very important, if you want to bring in radical changes, then is having a vision. I think visionary or having a vision is a very important quality, because you foresee something that others at that moment cannot, which is why you take the lead to do something. So if you are leading a team, whether it's on a trek or it's on a business, you are leading it because you can see something better, or something more, or where and how to take them. So that vision of where you want to go is very important, because that's where everybody along with you are going to come. So I think the vision is very important. Like Steve Jobs rightly said that my customers don't know what they want. I will show them what they want. So he had so confident that once I show it to them, they will like it. So I think you should be able to put yourself in the shoes of your end audience, whether it's a consumer or somebody else, and be able to think in future in their shoes, that if I see this thing, how would I like it to be, and then make that thing. After a point, entrepreneurship doesn't happen without investment. Somewhere the risk that you take is not just of a time that you're spending it, but it's the money that you'll put in in that venture. So having money really helps do any business. It can be your own money. It can be your business might generate money from day one and you put it back, or you can take an external money from investor, but you need money after a point.
Action is more important. I can see that he means, what he said is that where this learning comes from is what he's going through every day. What would you say about this? Like, there is no time. There is, like, time is really the crux of the matter. You have to keep hustling, keep doing, keep growing, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't like to say I don't have time for books, but yes, of course, because I think if I want, I can remove my time. But somewhere I think I made I used to read a lot of books. I used to read a lot of books at a point. all kinds of books. And I thought that was very important at one point. And after a point, some realization dawned on me that I thought I had read enough. And I had more knowledge than what I was using it in my life.
Correct.
And somewhere I felt that maybe now it's time for action. I don't think I need to read any more books now. I think I had to go out and do things. And that's when I decided that, so there has been a point after which I think I just stopped reading suddenly. So I had this whole cupboard of books which I collected over period. So I had a habit. First, I would just pick up any book from the market, and I would keep collecting books and reading it. Then suddenly one fine day, I stopped, doing that, and I stopped reading those books. And now I'm not reading it. I don't think I've read any books. I don't feel the inclination to read books right now, though I read a lot. But it's like a lot of daily reading, newspapers or online, or here and there. I read about we work on different topics, or I do a lot of research for my work, whatever topic we are working on. So I read a lot, but I don't read a book anymore. Except one book which is close to my heart, which is I'm reading one Bhagavad Gita by Paramahansa Yoganand, which I have decided to complete that book at some point. So that's one book that I've been reading from years. It goes very slow for me, but I have a bookmark in it, and that's one book which I read. That's it.
Gnanesh, if you have a power to run your country for a day, and you need only three people in your cabinet to run it, who would those three people be?
There's a lot of people I think who I really look up to. I think who've done a wonderful job in what they're doing. I don't think I can lead all those people as a prime minister in my cabinet, but I would still want them to, if I need to choose the best of the best.
You are a leader. You need three topmost people. So whoever is, they are ready to work for you. Imagine that.
So I think we should have more ministers as per the ministry that we choose. But I would definitely say at present I really look up to the work that our Prime Minister Modi does. Sincerely, it really I've seen his energy level and the diversity, the diverse areas. That's one choice. Ratan Tata, because Tata Group has done the maximum what I see contribution.
He killed it.
And I would like to have Steve Jobs on my team, because we always had phones, we always had computers, we always had computers.
Yes.
But he I think whatever he touched became a new invention. Inventions that he's made has really redefined a lot of things, and I would definitely want his views on how to change things.
Superb. So Mr. Modi, Mr. Ratan Tata, and Mr. Steve Jobs on your cabinet. Wow. You see yourself as changing your career midway sometime and get into policy making and changing your country's scenario, education, maybe, who knows? You can become an education minister and take the country in a different path. With your vision, nothing can be impossible. Would you like to consider that?
I would love to, if given a chance. Once I build all the appropriate qualities, to take up such a position, because I think the projects, the field, especially education, where I'm working on, and especially in a country like India, majority of it is under the government. Absolutely. And it's defined by the government policies.
Exactly.
So it's the perfect place to make changes, transform things.
Actually, and so education being a state subject, every state is different. We can't even think how diverse every person's needs are specific to that state, and it's a very, very challenging job for Indian education minister, I think. What if we have to write a book on yourself right now? What would the title of the book be?
Try till you succeed.
Perfect for you. All right, Gnanesh, we have covered a lot of questions and we have got to know you in detail, your work, your vision, your passion, and the future is bright. I would say definitely a lot more to be achieved at such a young age. Now is the time for a role reversal. You get to ask me a question, anything, and I would answer it honestly.
Because you've been my teacher and you've taught for so many years, I think as a teacher, what do you think, we need to change in our education system? or in how we teach our students, or in terms of what they learn, where do you think, what are we missing on? How can we improve that? What are your views on this after your this long experience as a teacher?
Ganesh, that would be a very long answer, but to make it very short and give you in one line, maybe what we need to do is, as I said earlier, not treat children as commodities, and give them as much love and care and their mental well being to grow and take up any challenges in life. That's not happening. And there is a clear segregation between good student, bad student, just because based on marks even now. And that's, it's something which needs to be taken care of. That marks is nothing, be all or end all of life. And the parents need to know this, and the education's policymakers need to know this, that nothing can depend upon that percentage, how much you get. If that changes, I think the life will be easier for everybody. Coming to the end of this talk, I would like you to end it the way you want it, by addressing this. My channel is for youth, and people from across the globe listen to the youth who come week after week. So, how would you like to end today? Because you are working, you are an entrepreneur, and you are working in education sector, and you have so much experience now. So, what would you say, that one line to the youth to motivate them?
I think everyone is different. Everyone is unique. Like you said, I don't think somebody is dumb or somebody is too intelligent. I think everybody has something in them. Understand, identify yourself, whoever you are. Learn what your strengths are. Build on those strengths, and don't be afraid to be unique. You don't have to always follow a path that has been set. If your voice tells you that you need to go somewhere else, and there is no precedent to reach there, don't be afraid. Doesn't mean you throw your life all into it if you can't do it at that moment, but don't leave that path.
Don't leave that dream. Yeah.
You keep it on the side till it becomes strong enough to pursue it,
Yeah.
but don't be afraid to not do something just because no one else is doing it.
Thank you so much, Ganesh, for being here today. And with this, um, we end this interview. And I hope that you subscribe to the channel, you like it, and you leave a comment on how you like this interview. And week after week, we bring you new panelists who talk about Gen Z and who talk about the youth issues. So, bye bye for now. Take care. Till we see you again. And remember, we have only one planet. Take care a little bit every day to make it better. Thank you, and bye bye.
Thank you.